Hey everybody, welcome to another Tuesday night chat. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I had other obligations to fulfill. Mainly I had a girl, and anyway, so sorry. I hate to disappoint you, but a girl was more important to me than the chat. So I'm just going to throw it out there. That's just the way it is. And anyway, here we are, another Tuesday night chat, and I'm going to let everybody do a intro, and I'm going to start with WTF SoCal. Let me just do that.
You can just call me what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Tay-R. Yeah. I don't really have anything to say. So, made a couple videos last week, finally, out of boredom, I think. Thought I had some things to share. So, you know, it's the first videos I've made on that channel, the WTF SoCal channel, in over a year, I think. So, go watch them. Last time you'll see me in about a year.
All right. Rosie, no offense, I'm going to skip you. I'm going to let you go last because I'm going to let you just, whenever you introduce yourself, I'm going to let you just roll off onto whatever subject's on your mind. And that's going to be the topic of the day, or at least the start of it. Coda Boy 32.
TR, thanks for having me, brother. I really appreciate it. In great company this evening. Blue, Rosie, SoCal. I was driving down the road last week, and I looked down on my phone. There was an alert that said somebody named SoCal had a video, and it was just one of those gorgeous holsters. But it was really cool to see you out there, but I'm really happy to be here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm in great company. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for being on. I do appreciate it, and I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation coming up. Blue 823. Blue, you're my boy. What's up?
Yeah, I are a professional. I forgot to hit the damn unmute button. Not much going on here. Working a ton of damn overtime. So you guys that are out there that are making videos, I haven't seen them. I'm not gonna lie. I try to catch it a couple during my lunch break, but it's been about a month worth of hell. The money's nice, but yeah, other than the chats, I haven't been doing anything hardly at all on YouTube. But thanks for the invite, and ready to get this thing rolling. And Coda, fix that damn picture in the background. It's crooked, man.
Unmute yourself.
I'll get back there and straighten it up here in a minute. Something up the wall there.
And of course, the star of the Tuesday night show, which everybody is used to be her being on here, is Rosie. Rosie, you go right ahead and you do an intro and you just spill off with whatever the hell's going on in your mind.
Well, you really elevated me tonight. Nice to see Coda and Blue, and we got SoCal here tonight, and of course you, TR. And it's been interesting, not so much from a economics point of view. And I know Blue was talking earlier. And by the way, I haven't done a video upload on the Rosie Murphy, where I usually do every other week and upload, because quite frankly, we're becalmed right now. And I tell you, that's the time you have to be most beware. But we'll get to that. There's a reason why I haven't done that in a few weeks, because there's just not a heck of a lot to say on that score. So don't worry, I still intend to have those topics and things. But I know Blue is going to want to tear into Trump compared to Obama, and the way he's treated and perceived in media, which I think is a very interesting topic. And I think we could probably get a little heated on that and take some different sides on that. But on the economics thing, and of course the president did go overseas and have the meetings in Saudi Arabia and with Angela Merkel and his various places he went. It's interesting how he's kind of declared a minor war on Germany here and our trade deficit with Germany. And that's, to me, in my lifetime, that's kind of a first. It really marks a we're so used to hearing Asia and our trade imbalances with Korea and our trade imbalances with China and Japan. It's interesting that you may think it's a good thing or it's not a good thing to tear into, but we've never really discussed our trade balance with Germany, which of course is in the red too. But I want to start with this topic that I've talked about for a few weeks, for the better part of months, and with the Dow Industrial Average, basically where we began the year, we've had surges, we've had pullbacks, but basically we're not making a lot of headway here, because I sort of sense that the perceptions are changing a little bit out there now, especially in terms of what may or may not be done in Congress in terms of pulling through some of the president's plans. And today we got a little bit of a tipping of the hand by the president when he came out and tweeted that let's just turn the Senate into a 51 votes carries the legislation deal. Because if the Democrats had that opportunity, you bet they would do it that way too. So you can tell by him sending that tweet that nothing's really, he's starting to get worried, I think, that nothing's going to really be accomplished by this Congress. The Democrats seem to be in a blocking mode. You have this conservative wing of the Republican Party that really doesn't want to even compromise in any way when it comes to things like health care. You have some of the liberal wing of the Republicans. Most of them are up in maybe the Midwest states, and they have constituencies that aren't really against the Obamacare, even though it's falling apart at the seams. But it's interesting to ponder that Trump has kind of reached the point where he thinks it's traditional ways of getting legislation through are not going to work with this Congress. And now I don't really know if he can even count on 51 votes for some of these things. If he was to put things like healthcare reform that passed the House into the Senate, I'm not even sure if it would pass. And weapons machinists said the entire system is unsustainable. Yeah, it is, especially the Obamacare. But these people are so vested in keeping government grow and supporting and keep feeding that it's going to be very difficult to dismantle that. So I think all of that is feeding into a market that is, before we were surging on the expectations that good things were going to be done. We have interest rates still very low. And now the reality is, when the Speaker of the House, Ryan, comes out and says, gee, I hope we get tax reform passed by the end of the year. I mean, we're starting to lengthen out here to the point where if we get into January and February, all of a sudden we're going to be talking about midterm elections coming up, and it's going to be all bets are off with getting anything done at that point. So I think it's kind of topsy-turvy in politics, and I think the president's his frustration levels are going to rise dramatically now, and I think that's manifest in the ways he's dealing with countries like Germany now, and just going straight on with the full frontal assault with the trade deficits and taking off the diplomatic gloves. I'm not used to hearing that. I don't know about you guys, and I have a few years on everybody on the panel, but I'll tell you what, it's something that I'm not used to hearing in my lifetime, taking that. So how does this all play out now? Where we're at a point where, and I guess Cody, you'll know because you were in SoCal, because you're familiar with finance and things like that. We have a dangerously flattening yield curve in the market now, and it's not signaling good things in my mind. We have a oil market that's perpetually weak. It's unable to get off the floor, really sustain above 50 and move. There's still a lot of supply ready to go on. So that whole sector, we've lost that driver. But I'm wondering what isn't driving the economy forward at this point. Of course, we have what they call the four horsemen. We have the Apple, we have the Alphabet, which is Google. We have Amazon, and we have Facebook, the big four, and they just continue to drive forward because I guess people think it's like the old Nifty 50 in the 60s when you could buy them and hold them forever. But my concern is that growth is lagging in the rest of the market now, and we keep getting these economic statistics, production and other figures that aren't really, they're not really good right now. They're not where they should be at this point in a recovery. So as a result, I'm watching. It's very strange now. Back in 1980, you would have a 18% 30-year bond. You would have maybe 12% 10-year bond, and you would have maybe 7% 2-year. Now we're, that was a normalized looking curve. Now we're at the point that we're so flat that the difference between lending at 5 years, 10 years, and 30 years has almost reached the point where it's negligible. So you can imagine the risk that people were taking on. A 5-year, I think that yields something like 1.75%. If you're going to lend your money for 5 years to the government, 1.75. You get up to the 10-year, 2.22, and you get up to the 30-year, and it's 3%. And normally, when you're going to go into a recession or a hard dip, you'll find that long-term rates, like the 10-year, they sometimes go below the short-term rates because there's a fear factor at work there. And I've watched the last month, I've watched interest rates dive again on that 10-year, and it really continues to send that warning bell to me that all is not well, that for some reason people don't have faith that our bond investors, they don't have faith in this recovery that we have going here. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. They're a little more tuned into the economics of it, but that's what I'm noticing right now. And as a result, I think we're going to be hard pressed, I think, to make significant headway from here. And we may be at a tremendous risk point too, where all the rewards, the risk reward ratio is as bad as I've ever seen it in my lifetime in something like these markets. So let you guys weigh in on that if you want.
I kind of still think, I've been saying it for almost 10 years now. It's like we're waiting for tax breaks, we're waiting for businesses to get laws changed so they can expand and grow, not be strangled by Obamacare and ridiculous taxes. And until that actually happens, I think everything is just priced in for the most part.
Well, Linda Francine makes an important point. She says to think about this also, but this recovery is very old. Not many go this year, but has this been a true recovery in the sense of a natural, after a catastrophic drop like we had in 2005, 6, 7, 8, and then we had basically in March of 2008, we bottomed in the market and started rising here. But has it been a natural recovery, or has it been a recovery that they're trying to manufacture from the financial end of the Federal Reserve? And I would say just because you lower interest rates does not ensure that you're going to have prosperity. I think Japan has proved that for 20 years, and I think we're learning that lesson now, that we're running out of bullets here, and there's really going to be no place to go. So I would tell Linda, I'm not really sure if we've had what I would call a natural recovery, or this QE1, QE2, QE funny money that has driven this whole bandwagon. And now it's kind of like show me time. And yes, some things are going well, but given the volume of money that we've pumped into this, that the Treasury's pumped in, and the Federal Reserve with purchases of lousy debt, we should be screaming. But the president's budgets foretell a 3% growth rate. I don't even know if we're going to get a 0.5% growth rate here. So they're predicting a balanced budget by 2027. I mean, good God. I mean, what's the debt pile gonna, what's the debt mountain gonna look like by that time? And I sit there and I just try to think, and you know, I see a train coming this way, and I see a train coming this way, and I think, like SoCal's name, what the fuck? You know, there's only one track with two trains. So 2 and 2 is going to equal 4 in here. So just, I continue to advocate real caution in here. If think about if you're buying and investing now, it's really you're only on momentum and nothing else right now.
No, it kind of seems like we've been talking, or at least like whenever you're doing your first spiel about economics and stuff, it almost seems like it's been, I don't want to say the same for the past year and a half or so, but it really seems like it's just this volatile market. I mean, do you see it crashing anytime soon? I mean, like a hard crash, or do you think we're just going to ride this out like we have been for the last several years?
What we need is, I think, some signal event that comes along, which could be something on the Korean Peninsula, but I doubt it. I mean, we launched up an anti-ballistic missile today that was beautiful in terms of hitting another long-range anti-ballistic missile. That'll get the world's attention. That's no easy feat to do at supersonic speeds to make that happen. So I'm apt to think that it's going to be some type of financial stress, or something comes out, or it's, my best bet is something comes out of the White House that just is like the no chance of repealing Obamacare, or taxes are off the table till the next Congress, something like that. You never know what it could be out there, but I just don't see I don't see the money flows to sustain where we are now. Like I said before, we've only been at this point 3 times in history where we've been this attenuated in terms of valuation, and then those 3 previous times it ended pretty ugly. So it doesn't always turn on a dime, but it does. It takes time, but it will. I think it's certainly closer than it was a year and a half ago. And I think the underpinnings of it are no stronger than they were. What's holding us up right now, I think, is the rest of the world is in a stronger position, believe it or not, than we were, which is counter to the way it was in 2012, 2013, where we were kind of the engine. Now I think there's a little bit of growth in Japan. There's a bit of more growth in Europe, and we're lagging at 0.5%, 0.25%, and we're liable to be flat this quarter in terms of growth. So it's sooner or later, reality has to uncouple. Reality and the market have to couple up again and come together, and I think it's going to be ugly when it does.
This is going to be way off, not off topic, but this whole push for free college, free this, free everything. I'm going to have 3 kids ready for college in 15 years. Have you looked or even have an insight of what we're going to be facing that far out, or is that way too far out to even start thinking about?
Well, I'll make a bold prediction at that time that college will be uber affordable, because a lot of colleges will have closed their doors by that point, because there won't be any funding available for it'll be back what it used to be, where people that could go to college, save for it, or had family could send them, and it'll be maybe a little more elitist to go to college, which was the way it used to be. And that philosophy of we should all be able to go to college probably won't carry water, because I don't think that the financing will be, there'll be so many competing forces. Are you gonna continue to support Meals on Wheels, which was the real weird poster child that people were attacking in Trump's budget, removing on Meals on Wheels? Are you going to send kids to college? Are you going to support Medicare? Or are you going to help kids go to college? And my thing is, Blue, I actually think that colleges are going to be chasing after people. There's going to be such a surplus of education relative to the demand for it that I think that thing's going to collapse like a deflationary house of cards too. So my prediction is by the time, if you continue working, which I feel like you will because you're the thin blue line out there, I think if you're still pulling a check in 15 years, I think that you'll find that college will not be anywhere near as stretched like it is with the debt the kids are taking on today. They're almost like indentured service. It can't be sustained. It's just, we can't have people buy houses that are pulling coffee at Starbucks and being baristas to try to pay off their college loans. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, this whole freebie mentality's got to go because somebody's got to pay the bill. I don't know if that answered it, Blue. If you feel like I'm just going to take an opposite tack. I'm not going to tell you it's going to cost, you know, $500,000 per child or some ridiculous thing. I'll tell you the whole thing's going to curve back sharply. It's just going to go the other direction, I think.
But if it's going to cost $500,000 a kid, they better start getting their asses out in the goddamn union lines now, because I'm not paying.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've reached a point where it's like TR said before, the perceived rewards from a college education, despite what statistics may tell you, are not what they used to be. The equation was almost a guarantee for success. And like Linda said, universities are living in fantasy land now. Yeah, and there's going to be a hard slap of reality. The first wave to go, of course, was the tech colleges, and a lot of them were caught up in scams, and DeVry closed their door, and a few of these nurse trained, a lot of these, not a few, but quite a few of these vocational programs ended up being just money makers, where nobody gave a shit who got a job at the end of it. They just basically took people's money. I think that a lot of colleges are going to be perceived the same way too. It's what you're able to do with it and pay it off. And I just think a lot of colleges, as Linda says, there's a lot of joke curriculum. There's want to avoid hard subjects, hard science, and things like that, and hang out in gender studies and women's studies and ethnic studies and things like that don't really teach you anything about living in life. But you may think great thoughts and stuff, but it's not going to fly, I don't think, in the future. So I think colleges are in for a real rude awakening here.
Let's see, I've got like a plan, because I can retire as soon as I hit 50, which is still 12 years away, which will put my oldest pretty much already starting college. But if I can hold off a little bit with my profession, which is awesome, a lot of colleges, once we retire, they will hire retired police officers to work campus security, or if they have an actual police force on the campus, they'll hire you and your kids get to go for free. So that's my orbit. And if any of my kids,
you got Penn State there, and I mean, you got some great, state schools in Pennsylvania. I mean, you're not going to be hurting for choices that I think are going to be affordable for people that can pay it when there's no government to help pay for financing loans for college. And that the whole college equation is going to change dramatically when you see the Speaker of the House sitting there weighing out helping kids finance college versus deteriorating student loan situation versus the need to fund Medicare or Medicaid and those types of things. So it's all gonna change, in my opinion. The money's not there to support that.
If I'm not ever going to push my kids to do what I want them to do, it's like every parent, they want their kids to do the absolute best they can. And I've got one kid, he's only 8 years old, and he is dead set. SoCal, you're going to love this. He wants to be a professional chef at 8 years old. I'm like, what in the hell? Where did you get this? But he loves.
Snap out of it.
Yeah, totally. He's an idiot. It's one of the hardest working professions on the planet, like 20-hour days.
Better like to drink, late night in the kitchen.
That's a long day. I wouldn't do that.
pursue your passion. You know, I think that's the thing that sustains. I mean, people that are doing what they love every day, they really don't care if they're living in the back of a car as long as they're pursuing their passion every day. And passion's contagious.
The
Passion
problem
can pay.
pursuing their passion is that people end up with $150,000 in student loans, and they're pursuing their passion, and they've got a job making 30 grand a year. I've got,
Well,
I know,
my question to you would be, have you ever met someone that's passionate in college? I have not in my whole life. You know, met somebody that's passionate about college. I've met a few that are passionate about becoming a doctor, but I never met anybody that had a passion for college. And I think most people go to college today because it's expected of them to go to college, and it's an excuse to party and chill out for 4 years and cut a class in the morning and do that. I mean, I'm sure some people have a passion, but I'm hard pressed to find people that have a passion unless they're driven for a doctor or I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, yeah, I don't consider it a passion in the sense of maybe being a cinema photographer and being a gopher on a production set and then going and working your way up, and you don't care how you're living, or you want to be a chef, so you don't care if you're washing dishes for the first year, then sharpening knives, then cutting vegetables and being a prep. I guess that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about.
yeah, I can totally agree with you on that aspect, but what I'm getting at is I have friends whose kids went to Duke University and accumulated over, a 6-figure loan, and they went to be a school teacher. In the state of North Carolina, school teachers do not make enough money to pay off that student loan. We sit there and can't understand why they only make a certain amount of money. And it's one of the things that we've forgotten in this country are that the general trades, you've got the, plumbers, electricians, pipe fitters. Those guys make a decent living. And as in this country is that it has grown this deal where everybody has to have a college education. And what happens at that point is supply and demand. The demand goes up to obtain the money to go to college. All of a sudden, next thing you know, you got a college that was 15 grand a year is up to 20 grand a year to 30 grand a year. Reason why? Because people are capable of paying it with the student loan market. So
yeah, they're just signing their life. You know, are they really paying it, or are they promising to pay it? See, that's the difference that we have. We're sold this bill of goods, like you say. I know people that have graduated from Berkeley and other places. They'll probably be a barista for life at Starbucks or something like that, and they'll be pissed off that they never could get their degree in fine arts or Zambian literature to pay off in a big way for them. That's the problem. Colleges stopped educating people towards the realities of the world, and they started changing to, this is just my opinion, and people may agree or disagree, but they started changing to fit the demand of what they think society wants people to study, like equality and fairness issues, and take 4 years to just learn that there's separate but equal's not good. We should all be equal. I mean, you come out with useless stuff that you paid a fortune for, and it's never going to be worth anything unless you're a lecturer or something. So that's my beef, that they change themselves around to broaden their offerings to useless shit out there, and they leave some of those and the realities don't hit people how difficult it's going to be. And of course, with the government glad to supply the money as long as you promise to pay it back, who really cares? The government's not going to sit you down and say, wait a minute, you're an idiot. You're not going to make it in. You're not going to be this or that or the other. You're wasting time. So, like Atomic Bull says, the student loan bubble, that whole thing is, shaky as can be now. So it's like, how much more is the government going to shovel in there? It's probably one of those things where Trump figures it's not our job as a government to be in there. We've had the discussion before that everything the government touches turns into a disaster. I don't care whether it's housing, education, financial markets, everything that the healthcare, everything that they stick their fingers into to make it better. They end up just making it a disaster. So I put education right at the top of the heap.
Well, skilled trades, which is something I can speak about, you can make I mean, you'll never be rich. I'll never be a rich man doing what I do for a living. But you can make from $40,000 to $70,000 a year doing what I do. You know, but you have to have some talent. You have to have a little bit of skill. And but if you have that, I'm not saying you, Rosie, would change careers and do that, but you have some electronic experience, and I've seen you repair some stereos and stuff. Those kind of skills, if you have those kind of skills, you can apply them and, you know, make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a fucking year as a tradesman, however you want to fucking put it. You know, I mean, that's what I do.
Well, I tell you what, TR, I travel all over the country, and construction is my business. And for the most part, the reason why I go up north is because the pay scale is so much higher. When we were in Chicago, for example, I was in the best paid guy on that project was a sprinkler fitter, and he made $97 an hour. And he sat there. He had to be on the job because in case made long. The second guy was a machine operator. He made $75, $85. The 10 knockers made about $80, $90 an hour. It was absolutely sick. Now, living's probably a little bit higher up there. But what I'm getting at is that the general trades in this country, for some reason, it starts off free. One in this country has a college education. And it's you know, I'm not saying anything bad, but we need people, the general trades. This country needs those general trades individuals. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of people who are pretending like bankers sitting around and no one's going to be able to build shit. It's sad. I'm done.
Well, just my covering point is just this. If the government allows you, is willing to be the lender of first and last resort, and they don't care what you study and they don't care how motivated you are, then the things aren't going to get better. They're just going to be worse. Like I say, when you take the government out of the equation, and then all of a sudden, Blue has the, you know, there's no backup source, and I use him as a bad example. But let's suppose that you know, he wasn't in a position where he would have a nice pension or had to keep working. You know, if there wasn't that student loan backup of the federal government and it just came to a bank loan or something like that, it would be a different story. You know, it'd be a much more serious question about whether college is on the table, or starting out with a junior college maybe for a couple of years and then finishing off at a 4-year college. But right now the government makes it too easy to just go in and do frivolous stuff in college, and it's not, and the colleges are right there to greet that frivolosity by offering anything that you want to study, from underwater basket weaving to you know, to Zambian filmmaking, or it's all there, whatever you want. And then you'll be the sucker at the end that paid your money and can't even get a visa to go to Zambia. You know, something like that, to use that example. So
I'll give you an example. It's an interesting thing. I went to college in North Carolina, went to a little Catholic school called Belmont Abbey, and it's right between Gastonia and Charlotte, and it's the only Catholic school. Anyway, this, I think 2 years ago, they decided what they were going to do was they lowered the tuition by 25%, the incoming class. And people were like, that's absolutely awesome. But the only stipulation is they got rid of all the financial aid supplied by the school and the endowments for the people who couldn't afford it. Then all of a sudden, everybody's up in arms going, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean we can't send these people to school? He goes, listen, The reality of it is you can go to college, but this is the problem. You're going to have to finance it on your own. Either mom and daddy are going to pay for it, you get a job, go to the military, do what you got to do. But the only way we can offer this education at this price line is that we get rid of certain things, and those are the entitlement programs. Does that sound familiar?
Yep, and it sounds like the kind of the future. I see a lot of what's sustaining some of these universities now is overseas students wanting to come in from China and other places. They don't have to worry about paying in-state tuition. They pay the full ticket when they come in of out-of-state tuition. And if it wasn't for them, a lot of schools in California would be up against it if they had to go with the domestic feedstock that was coming into these universities. So and that's not always going to continue. You know, that can stop on a dime. So it's just one of those cases where things have to change in a 180-degree way, or it's not sustainable.
I think my biggest thing, and I'll go back to this again, is that we have a population now that wants to go to college. They get a student loan, they become the barista, and they can't understand why they can't pay their student loans. And these individuals go to a college. It's not cheap. It's just like anything else. When you sign the dotted line, you're obligated to make that payment for pretty much. My wife just paid off her student loan. It was 35 years or something stupid like that. I don't know. But when she made the final payment, she paid it like $50 over just so they'd have to send her a check back. But the entitlement of everyone needs an education. It's just blowing my mind. I got to stop talking. I'm gonna get mad.
Well, it's a true thing, and it's the government backstopping that's permitted that thought process to take hold for a couple generations here. Before, you had to, like you said, you had to have family, or maybe you came out of the service and you had the GI Bill to help you out. But other than that, it was, hey, get a job, and you earned enough working part-time. How many people can work their way through college now? Isn't that a nice antiquated notion from well, back in my day, where you could actually have a part-time job and then actually help to work your way through college? But like I say, once again, when the government money started flowing in there, it was all bets are off, and the universities lined up at the feeding troughs, and they couldn't jack their tuition high enough because they were being flooded with applications every year, people that would have never gone to college before, absent that ability through the government to finance. And I don't say that's bad. A lot of people became engineers, useful people, computer. I mean, there was some usefulness to come out of that. But it's getting harder today. That the demands of our society in terms of what it takes to succeed in education, they're either becoming more technically oriented, like you better know how to be a mechanic these days with high-tech computers, and be you know, as you said, the low-skill but high-paid masons and carpenters and things like that. Or you better be really smart and really apply yourself in a field that's going to really be in demand in the future.
You got to just make yourself marketable when you go out there. That's the only thing. You can't go into a degree situation. It equates to, if you're going to pay $100,000 for a teaching degree, then make sure that where you're going to teach is going to pay you enough to substantiate that degree that you have backing you up. Dad was just sitting there a second ago. You know, RNs, they make excellent money, and if they have a 5-year degree or a BSN, that's a master's or MSN or that's MSNBC. But anyway. My point is, if you're going to go to college, get into a career that's going to substantiate the expense that you put together to go to college. Otherwise, go out, become a machine operator, learn how to do a trade, and do it well. That's all. You know, the world has just gotten to too many people who.
Yeah, I think also you can sort of see the vice. You can see the vice beginning to squeeze now. You can see a little tougher choices being made at a budget level now. I mean, remember all the brouhaha 2 months ago when they talked about cutting public television funding from the United States government, would no longer be funding public television, as if we should anyway. So we could see, no offense, meat, but what was her name? The cooking, the French one. Hello, I can't remember her name, or
Julia Child, man. How could you
yeah,
forget
yeah,
Julia Child?
the guy that painted, the real mellow guy, Bob something or other.
You guys,
But
you ever
it's
watch Louder with Crowder? He does.
yeah,
really
and I'm
funny
just
imitation
thinking.
of Bill
Now they're
Barr.
talking about doing away with that. And the other thing that they were talking about doing away with, they're talking about cutting Meals on Wheels now, and those kind. You can tell that the money squeeze is starting to really be felt in the federal government. So it's a really damn good thing that interest rates are so low, because they're rolling over so much debt right now that if of course rates will turn viciously someday, but then it's really going to be an ugly ass thing when that happens, when they have to roll over debt at ridiculous interest rates. And you can imagine what a hole that the budgeting for the interest is going to cut into the federal budget. It's going to be phenomenal. It's ugly. Yeah, Bob Ross. That was yeah. Let's Paint Muhammad by Bob Ross.
Well, the media kind of blew up the Meals on Wheels thing, but there is a definite tightening up of government. That cutout on the Meals on Wheels was only like fucking 3% of their income or whatever. But anyway, the liberal media just blew it out of proportion. But
well, they talk about that too, TR. They talk about, Trump's big push is to get things back to the states, to get things off of the federal books and say, look, run it on your own state. And of course, that's the opposite of what happened in the 60s and stuff, when they had the Great Society programs and Lyndon Johnson and all that. Then the federal government jumped in big on urban renewal and had all these freaking programs that they started for inner city redevelopment and stuff. But the problem is now, when you kick that stuff back to the state level, they have no ability to fund these things. You take a state like Mississippi, and no offense to anybody that lives in Mississippi, but they rank very low in terms of what they put in compared to what the federal government dishes into their state every year. So when you talk about kicking things back to the state, then you're going to start having this situation where the perceived inequalities are tremendous on that. Now, maybe that's the way it should be. Maybe it becomes cheap enough and a lousy enough place to live that it eventually becomes an attractive place to do business. I don't know, but with his pushback to state level, you can see that some states will be able to carry that, and other ones won't be able to carry that. They're all depending on this redistribution of wealth from, California pays in a lot more than it takes out every year, and states like Mississippi take more out of the federal government than they pay in. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out too.
Well, that's a problem that we all should address. Period. We keep relying on the federal government and what we pay in and what's paid out. You gave a great example just then. California pays in more than the state gets. Well, why don't we just freaking end that altogether and your state take care of itself? It makes no sense to me to pay in federal taxes and they don't even go to your state. They go to another state. Um, that's why that happened.
Well, I'm just
That's
thinking
why
you
that
can
happened. That's
imagine
why that
how
whole Confederate fucking war happened, was over taxes. And I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. Do your damn research. It had to do with taxes. You know, the South was being taxed. They were paying 80% of all the federal taxes of America. That's why the Civil War happened.
Yeah, I'm just saying that sounds good, but when it comes time to play out in a state like Mississippi or Alabama, it's gonna it's gonna come down a little harder on a local level. I believe it's going to be a little harder for them to gum down the reduction in services and things and things like education and you can imagine the lawyers jumping in. It's unconstitutional, blah, blah, blah. We're all entitled to an equal public. You know, you can imagine how, you know, when liberals clash with reality, how ugly it can get when lawyers are involved in injunctions. It's crazy. Oh, well.
You know, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I'm just saying that even roads, everything. I mean, it should come down to a state. You know, I don't. When I get up in the morning, get out of bed, make a cup of coffee, go to work in the morning, the federal government didn't have a damn thing to do with me doing that. And I shouldn't have to rely on the federal government for me to get to my job, to do that and collect a paycheck. But yet they pull money out of my paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. There's a lot of different things we could do. Unfortunately, people think that we need the government to do this for us and do that for us and blah, blah, blah. And that's what's got the whole system all fucked up, because we're wanting the government to do this, that, and whatever else. So they pull money out of my back pocket and do whatever. And
Yes,
then we end up with a fucked up mess we got.
and then you can imagine how difficult it is to pull away from the tit after all those generations of that going, and everybody's sense of entitlement is like, whoa, you can't do that. You know, it's that's not right to do that. I mean, you can just see how nutty it's all going to be when the push comes to shove and the budget really has to be pared down to. Because if, you know, there ain't no way defense is going to take a cut. So go pick, you know, you got health and human services, and and they're the ones that are going to have to take the hit on there. And man, that's when shit gets ugly. So I don't know whether it's this year, I don't know whether it's 2 years from now, but we know the inevitability of budgets, and we know what a parabolic curve looks like, and we know that that can't be sustained.
The bubble's going to pop eventually. We all know it. It's going to happen. It might be this year. It might be 10 years from now. I don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually it's going to fucking happen. Every empire has fallen, and this empire will be no different than any in history has been. It will fall. If nothing else, history repeats itself, and this empire will fall. Because I don't think we can fix it. It's so entrenched, and just like you were talking about, entrenched in bureaucracy and so much taxes, and is so freaking huge. It can't be tamed. It can't be fixed. It'll just have to It'll just have to fail, and that's what will happen.
Yep. So I just think we're already seeing the leading edge. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it doesn't happen in a burst. Maybe it's just a slow death by million cuts, you know, and just until one day it reaches a really ugly tipping point. And this looks like the year it could happen, and it could happen in the Congress of the United States and the United States Senate. So if things, imagine everybody voted for Trump, and the expectations that we would undo Obamacare, we would, well, tax reform may not be as important to them, but a chance to repatriate money from overseas, from corporations, to bring that back, and then suddenly we're not going to get shit done. And it's like, oh man, see, you couldn't even have a strong guy go in there, a real alpha male lead that thing. That's how screwed up this country is. And then it's like all bets are off at that point. You know, it's not my system anymore. You know, it failed because of this, things like the filibuster rule and all this other bullshit that can often be a detriment to progress.
Did anybody hear about was it Trump used toilet paper that was imported by Russia today? Very important news.
I didn't catch it. What was that again?
I'm just sick and tired of the news. Anytime that they are so emboldened on this the Russia thing, that it's just like the news media is hunting for anything and everything that they possibly can get their hands on, and it's gotten to a point that it's extremely sad.
Yeah, the whole Russia thing. I don't give a shit if you could prove that Russia influenced the election. Their proof is that they hijacked the DNC's fucking emails. So at worst, the fucking Russians outlaid the DNC's fucking their illegal activities.
They exposed them for what they were.
Them. Yeah, exactly.
I have friends.
The worst.
I got friends of mine who were major Bernie Sanders backers, and the interesting part about it is after Trump was won, they immediately started bashing Trump. I'm going, whoa, you know what? Why don't you bash the DNC, because they screwed your, and the only person that they can blame, oh, it's Russia. What? Russia didn't cheat anybody over. And as far as I know, what did they do? Back Wikipedia?
Yeah. They gave Wikipedia the DNC fucking information.
Yeah, I'm just like,
we're going to change subjects here, and we're going to talk about guns. Bam! Look at that. Yes.
What?
AR-15. What do you guys got to top that? Come on. Up. SoCal. Let's go. SoCal got. We're going to switch topics there. Oh, HKVP. I hear you. What do you got, Blue? That doesn't look like a Glock.
No, it's a Smith & Wesson.
Okay. Just
yeah. I have Springfield.
Go ahead.
I thought I had the other gun on. This is the Springfield. I'm sorry.
No, you don't even know what fucking gun you got on. I know the feeling. Anyway, there you go. Look at that. CZ for life. Fuck y'all. I actually carried this today. This was my carry gun for today. This is a L120. It has an aluminum frame. Of course, a what is it? 17, 18 round mag. I forget. I don't know. A shitload of ammo in it. Anyway, there you go. That was my carry gun for today.
That's a 9mm, right?
Yes, 9mm.
I don't understand why you guys think you need so many bullets. You know, my government has been telling me for as long as I have been allowed to own a firearm that 10 rounds is plenty, man. So,
well, that's in California.
Do yourselves a favor and just lighten the load a bit. It's just easier to carry. Just saying.
If 1 round is good, 10 is better. So, you know.
More holes.
You just don't need more than 10. Ask Jerry Brown. Hell, ask Barbara Boxer or Nancy Pelosi. They're all much smarter than we are.
Well, they think they are anyway. My backup my when I carry this, my backup mags have 20 rounds. So if I have to actually change a magazine, the next magazine has 20 rounds in it. Just in case there's a bunch of motherfuckers that need to get shot.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, Comms Prepper's like, SoCal, you should move to the United States. Yeah, I know.
TR, here's your guy's little brother right here.
There you go.
A great little guy.
TR, not finish talking about your gun real quick. There's an old story that we've been covering for a while that another headline came up about, which I wanted to mention earlier. But go ahead, talk about your gun first, Coda. Show it.
Oh, this is just the little brother of what TR's got. This is the C100, and it's the compact version of the C75. It's a great little firearm, man. One of the smoothest triggers I've got on any one of the full metal guns. This thing is just a bad little bama jamma, man. But you can carry it locked and cocked, ready to go. But it's a fantastic little shooter. I'm going to take it out and shoot some rounds with it this week. I brought it up here with me.
Now that's a high point, right?
Yeah. I'm going to buy a high point one day just to piss people off. It'll be funny.
I've only ever shot one high point, and the goddamn thing is so top heavy. It's like you have to almost use two hands just to pick that front sight up a little bit.
Like a Glock.
No, not quite. Almost, but not quite.
Well, the thing about the high point is you can turn around. If you don't hit what you're shooting at, is that you can throw it at them. And then if you don't hit it, you can go pick it up and then beat them to death with it.
If it doesn't fall apart in the process. It might shatter if it hits something hard.
I think one of my buddy Mel, he traded me one of that high point. It was the 40 cal carbine years ago, and I had to get on YouTube to figure out how to take that thing apart. It was just, but it was built like a freaking tank, man. It was all heavy steel construction. It was badass. Not that I said it was good, but you know.
Oh, it's funny. Comms Prepper just sent me this. You probably won't be able to see the caption, but it says, "My 30-round magazine identifies itself as a 10-round magazine." I'm good, right?
Well, by today's standards, by all means, that's you're good to go with that.
Maybe I should just do that. Go out and take like all my AR-15 magazines. I buy Magpuls for the most part, and you can buy blocks for them that convert them from 30 to 10-round magazines. I just pull them all out and just on every single one of them, just put hashtag not a 30-rounder, and then it'd probably be good, wouldn't you think?
I think you're good to go.
All right.
I mean, who's going to argue with it? I mean, if you're allowed to, if you're not allowed to identify as a male or female, I mean, that automatically should just boom, you're right there.
That's what I'm saying. It should be pretty much open closed case. It's not a 30-round magazine. It's a 10-round. It says it right on it.
Well, here you go, SoCal. Here, one of my favorite guns. This is actually my bedside gun. This is something that would be legal in California. 45
Yeah,
with an
exactly.
8-round mag. So I got only got 9 rounds of ammunition in it. That's
Yeah.
what's by my bedside. One
Yep.
of my favorite guns, a fucking 1911 and 45.
I love my 1911s, man. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, it's totally California legal. You don't need a bullet button or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a cheap fucking knockoff, a fucking Philippine version, but this motherfucker feeds anything I shoot with it.
There's something about 1911s that I love so much. They fit. They're like ergonomically perfect.
Yes, exactly.
That's what CZ copied. And they actually did it better.
Well, if you're going to go 45, you do a 1911. If you're going to do 9mm, you do a CZ75. That's just what you do. That's just normal, what should be done. Anything else is a hybrid and should be ridiculed and fucking made fun of.
Okay, here you go. This is funnier still. Fucking Hank. That's awesome. It says Air Force weapons training. All the bullets in the magazine are facing down into the magazine. That's funny.
All right, TR, we've covered this story many, many times. Cleveland, Ohio. I think he was 12-year-old black kid sitting in a pavilion with a airsoft gun. I've spoken my mind many times. Super bad tactics about pulling right up 5 feet away from the kid. I think that happened back in 2014. I'm pretty sure that was 2014. And let me check here. The kid's name was Tamir Rice. They just now, today, fired the officer that shot him and suspended the guy driving for 10 days.
Damn, that was that was a couple of years ago. I remember us talking about that on a chat right after it happened. Yeah, that was several years ago. And I agree with you. It was bad tactics. It was a bad approach. It was a bad everything. They did not do one damn thing right. I'm not saying that the kid was totally innocent. I mean, he was. He had a BB gun. But the fuckers shouldn't have drove up 10 foot from them. I mean, the whole situation was wrong. Everything about it was wrong.
Yeah, and I've agreed with that, and I've stated that in my own opinion. But I just can't believe that now, 3 years later, 3 fucking years. I would like to see the transcripts of the internal investigation to see what happened, because to me, unless the officer that was in the passenger seat, which actually shot him, gave the order to drive right up on him, you know what I mean? Like if the guy driving was like a lower rank or whatever, it's just that floors me that it's taken that many years to finally fire somebody and then suspend the driver. To me, it should. I mean, there again, I don't know the internal investigation part. They're not putting a lot out there about what they found, but it's 3 years later. One's fired and one's on a 10-day suspension. I don't understand it. I don't understand why it took that long, because even Christ, it was within a week after that happened. We were just discussing it. Like you just got done saying, the tactics were so bad. That was messed up. But that just came across my news feed not too long ago, and I know we've talked about it before, so I wanted to bring it up again.
Whether tactics, let's just say that it was we'll say, just for the benefit of the doubt, we'll say it was an adult with an actual firearm. That was the worst fucking tactics you could use. Drive up and jump out of the car at point blank range with a guy with a gun. That's a way to get a cop killed.
Yep.
That's a, you know, you was actually make you like a suicide fucking run. It was stupid. And if anybody don't know, you'll have to look it up or whatever. But I mean, it was just dumb from the whole get go. And I hate that it took this long for something to be done about it. But you know, I mean, a kid with a BB gun, anytime, yeah, that could be a bad situation. But at point blank range,
Blue is. Are they unionized? I mean, do they have a policeman's union out there?
In Cleveland, Ohio, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's probably reasons why it took forever.
Right. No, I wouldn't doubt that. But I mean, it's the only thing they could have done worse. And there again, I you know, I'm kind of on the fence of one way or the other. The only thing they could have done worse was slid in there at 80 miles an hour and ran the kid over. That's the only thing they could have done worse. I mean, it's the call comes in, you know, just in a nutshell. The caller is reporting there's a young black male around the park or in the pavilion, and he's got a gun and he's pointing it around. They're not saying he's shooting. And the guy even says, I think it's a BB gun. You know, any of us, same circumstance, somebody pulls a BB gun on them, they're going to get shot in the face. That's the way it is. And that's just reacting. I mean, that's reacting to somebody coming up to you with it. You know, these guys had the call come in, you know, even if they were 30 seconds out, a minute out, you don't roll within, God, it had to have been no more than 15 feet of where this kid was. And I'm sorry. I mean, even being in law enforcement, I'm sure if anybody in law enforcement watches this video, they get shit for it. Imagine yourself at 12 years old. They didn't know how old the kid was. They didn't. But imagine yourself as a 12-year-old, and you've got a pellet gun out, and you're waving it around. You're trying to act like a cool kid, and all of a sudden, this fucking cop car blares in and stops right the fuck in front of you. What's the first thing you're going to try to do? Get rid of the fucking gun, throw it. Yeah, this kid reaches in to his waistband, starts pulling it out to throw it, and game over. Tactics were shit. And, you know, I'm not a tactical officer. I'm not anything like that. But I would have never in a million fucking years pulled up that close. You stay back, assess the situation, you look.
Yeah, dude, I mean,
Blue,
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 they were like within 5 fucking feet. I mean, they were like on him. It was crazy. It was stupid.
did you guys remember the case about 4 years ago of Andy Lopez here in Santa Rosa? He was a 14-year-old that had a fake gun, and the deputy sheriff shot him here when he was playing around, pulled it out, and the officer said he leveled it and pointed. Well, it's kind of a judgment call, but evidently that case is going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court now, whether you know, he was in his rightful to do that action or not. And it was really made the national news. It was a really big story. So it's still unfolding all these years later. I'm going to find the link for that. I'll put it on the side chat if anybody. It'll probably ring some bells. But they're still going crazy here with no peace, no justice, and those. So it's like, I mean, I know that he didn't shoot him just to shoot him. You know, he probably a 14-year-old kid. Some of them look adults from a distance and stuff. And, you know, in a tough area. So.
You know, and I'll even put this out here. I mean, I don't give a shit if you're 10 years old or you're 50 years old. If you have a gun and you're making an aggressive action, you're going to get the proper response. However, the proper response, by no means, without actual shots being reported fired, are you going to get that goddamn close? That was bullshit, and that was stupid. However, on the flip side,
this case was so big. It's a Wikipedia. I mean, it's putting it on the side now. It's so big. It was a Wikipedia story about excessive force, and got the kid's picture walking through a vacant lot in October 2013, carrying an airsoft gun that was designed to resemble the AK-47. And the officer mistook it for a real gun. Well, from a distance, you got to make some pretty fast calculations when it appears that somebody's leveling a weapon at you. That the color's correct, the shape of it's correct, the neighborhood's correct, the size of the kid is correct for an adult. I mean, it's just, it's 50 people could have done that. Maybe 25 would have shot them. Maybe 25 wouldn't have. These are tough calls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect a police officer to do anything less than I would. And if I think somebody's pointing a gun at me, I'm going to shoot them.
mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't expect a police officer to do any different. Actually, they will probably be more amped in that stage of doing it than me. Me as a citizen with a concealed weapon permit, having a gun on me, if I think somebody's pointing a gun at me, I'm going to fucking drop it.
I don't know how Blue's mind works, but you're probably in an area where you don't really have unsavory kind of neighborhoods like we have. You can have outright sort of ghettos, but imagine that you're in that type of situation in a rather distressed neighborhood where there's no parental supervision at all, and kids are out at all hours doing whatever the hell they want. And you're assigned to this beat, and you come across that scene, and you're about 120 feet away, and you see something going on. You stand up to take a look, and what are you doing over there? And all of a sudden, the kid kind of wheels with something that looks like for all intents and purposes, an AK-47, and raises it up towards you. I mean, you're either going to hit the deck immediately and draw your weapon, or you're just going to try to take the person out. You don't know how old he is, or jacked up on whatever, the neighborhood, the time. So, I don't think these people are going to have a leg to stand on. It. To me, it comes more down to parenting and a way a kid's raised to not be stupid with even a toy weapon.
Yeah,
I mean, how are you going to be able to differentiate a toy from the real deal and dust and?
You cannot differentiate a toy versus real, because these goddamn idiot gun makers make a goddamn pistol, AK-47, or a shotgun that looks like a goddamn toy. It's got Hello Kitty stickers on it with paint schemes of hot pink and green, and but the thing is, same call. You're standing that far away and somebody raises an AK-47 at you, you're gonna fucking drop them. I mean, that person took I don't care how old they are, they took a thought process to raise the weapon to make it look like you're about to be shot. That person is going to, you're going to do what you need to do to neutralize the threat. That's completely different than the Ohio deal. Those guys, by the way, what you're making it sound like 100 some odd feet away, at least they set up a little bit behind. They didn't drive 5 feet up to the person and left no choice. They left that gap, and that person made a choice, which ended up getting them shot. It's just, people think, I don't know. I do get some, not hate mail, but I get some people pissed off that I talk like I do. But, there was one in Arizona, I think it was last year or the year before. Some guy walking down the street, I don't remember if it was an AK or it could have been a deer hunting rifle. I don't know what it was, but he was walking down the street, just randomly shooting at houses, shooting up in the air. And the fucking cops came around, gunned it to about 80 miles an hour, and they fucking smeared him into a concrete a concrete wall. I think that was good. I think that was a good.
Oh, Arizona.
Yeah, that was
I
Arizona.
think so.
Yeah, nothing says that I have to engage you with gunfire because you're using gunfire. Whatever the hell I have at my means to stop your aggressive action. I mean, it's just
You take out the fucking threat, period. I got no
Yeah,
problem.
car, bazooka, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
220, 221.
I mean, it is all situational. I mean, there's no situation that is absolutely the same. You know, I would hope that if I was put in a situation, I would act appropriately. However, I can also see myself in the situation where, you know, I might be the field training guy, I might be whatever, and I'm sitting shotgun to a rookie who thinks that they have to get 5 feet away. Now, all of a sudden, this asshole put me in the position where I've got no choice. You know, and that's the thing that sucks, because you don't know the absolute specifics of it.
Yeah, but as a training officer, you should tell them way ahead of time before you pull up 5 feet away from them.
Yeah, have you ever had somebody that you're training and you tell them, hey, you know, make sure you park at least 50 feet away from those big ass flames, and they still go to the hydrant in front of the house that's 5 feet away?
You keep telling them.
Then you punch them and you kick them out the fucking car and back them up.
Now, I know what you're saying. You have no control over the vehicle, but
And that's the only thing that I'm cautionary on with that scenario from Ohio, because I nothing's come out that I've seen yet that says who the driver was. Was the driver, you know, was he seasoned? Was he a rookie? Was the passenger supposed to be the supervisor? You know, I don't know how that works, but it just it looks bad, and like, you know, like we've said, it's taken this.
yeah, but it goes back to the parents. In my opinion, every gun, every plastic toy gun, whether it's yellow, green, squirts water, has a Nerf that shoots out the end of it, a BB gun, a pellet gun, all those guns in the hands of a kid, and let's go back to like the water guns and Nerf gun stuff. I've always told them, hey, you never point this at anybody. You know, and there's times where, like, you know, you do Nerf fights and stuff, but overall, treat that firearm. I always used to tell them, treat that as a real firearm. So someday when you grow up and you have real pistols, you'll understand the, you know, the mechanics of keeping your finger out of the trigger, and, you know, and use it as a training tool. And back to the parents again would be, why has a kid got a pistol out and he's running around town with it? He wants to be a little gangbanger shit wagon. You know, it's basically what it boils down to. It's not the kid's fault that he died, is what I'm saying. There could have been a lot more things involved to keep that.
It is back to that one. The problem is supposedly the kid had the gun like poked in his waistband.
Yeah.
The cop said, "Put the gun down." Well, to put the gun down, he has to reach for it. Well, the cop was within 5 feet. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember all the mechanics of it. It was just a shit. It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was all the cops' fault.
Yeah.
It was all their fault. They pulled up way too close. Then they told him to put the gun on the ground. Well, to put the gun on the ground, he had to put his hand on it. As soon as he put his hand on it, then the cop shot.
I don't even think they had time to give him that command, TR. I mean, the video, that fucking car screamed to a fucking stop. They got out and boom, it was over. I mean, it was just stupid. You know, I mean, I'm a concealed weapon person myself. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get up 2 feet from somebody and then react to that. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, wow, that was such a bad situation. It was just wrong.
It was horrible. That's for sure. It could have ended a lot differently, that's for sure. Better training by the officers.
Mm-hmm.
Better parental guidance by the family.
And on a side note, my beef stew is, I'm getting a whiff of it in here. My God, it smells so good. I'm going to eat like a pig when this over.
TR's getting the munchies.
Oh, shoot, that's funny.
Making me hungry. Potatoes, carrots, all that good shit in there.
Beef stew.
All the good stuff in it.
Oh yeah.
Send some to me,
Well,
man.
I mean, it's a simple one, but you know, there's broccoli, cauliflower, onion, garlic.
Okay, so what you're saying is if and when, but mostly if, there's another Farmageddon, you're going to cook this time, right?
No, hell no. You're the cook.
Yeah, you're the
Well,
cook.
I already got you down for a stew, so.
Hey, we cooked one night. Right, TR? We cooked one night.
Yeah, it seemed like I did help cooking one night.
Yeah, we cooked burgers and
Some simple shit.
yeah, some stuff we couldn't ruin too bad. We
That
did a night.
complicated shit, that whatever it was, chili or whatever, that was off our menu. I mean, that was that was like,
Yeah,
nah.
I mean, it takes 6 hours to cook a freaking bowl of chili. Come on.
I just got to thank Rob, Pop, for that. He made that all possible. I was just there doing it.
Well, it was
Add
an
some of
awesome
this,
event.
add some of that. It's easy. Any idiot can do it. I think that some jackass put a video up on it.
Yeah.
The one I put up, he was just cooking bacon.
Not that jackass. I was talking about that Big Meat Sunday guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he did the whole, what is it called? The $300 chili or something?
Yeah.
All I know, I kept going by and eating the rib stuff. I was okay with that. Just give me the preempt stuff. That was awesome.
Did you even eat the whole time you were there? I just remember you drinking the whole time. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, from what I understand from one source, you was drunk the whole time, Rick. Even while we were shooting.
Oh, yeah.
On the
Oh, yeah.
scotch that Rob bought me. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Fucking
come on,
Pepperhead
when you
was
come back, I got you covered. Yeah, every time Rick turned that bottle of sweet tea up, I thought it was bourbon. He's gonna turn the whole bottle up. There it is.
Yeah, someone thought I was drinking a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, there was somebody that mistakenly thought Rick was drunk the entire time. And it's like, Rick didn't even drink.
I think I had 2 shots the entire weekend.
You're
Now,
high.
me, on the other hand,
I was too busy worried about getting killed, so I didn't drink.
Yeah, once I put my guns down, I will admit I was drinking hard and heavy. But I didn't do it while drinking. But as soon as I decided, hey, it's time to stop, the drink was on.
That's right.
I just laughed. I met this guy. We sat on the front porch of this thing, and he said, "Here, try some of this." And next thing I remember, it was the next day, and we did some golf cart racing, and ran for a couple of dummies. Almost hit another dummy.
Yeah, you ran one over for sure and almost hit another one.
Yeah. But I do recall the one thing I do remember sitting on that front porch was us talking about the primer pockets of 45 cases.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I've been reloading the daylights out of 45, hammered out 200 rounds today. And,
Not bad for 8 hours.
but yeah, man, I was like, okay, we're just gonna throw all the 8 of them that I found out of about 500. I was like, we're getting rid of those things.
So you said you made 200, so you had to pull the lever 600 times?
Okay, deep prime, resize, prime, then flare, charge, seat the bullet, and then crimp. So 4 times.
Or 800 times you did that shit.
Yeah.
WTF SoCal could have done that in 8 minutes.
Yes, I'm aware of that. And then when we were sitting here, I've been resizing 223 brass.
Are you trimming it?
Yep.
What are you using? I saw you had a little R2D2
Got this
penis looking thing.
this little thing right here, and you put the casing on there, and it turns around, and you got the little resizing thing. You stick it down into the deal, and then you got the chamfer and deburring deal. I've got a new, I got a thing that's coming in, not this week, the weekend after that. It's gonna, one of those automatic deals. You just sit it in there. It's the die, and you just each one of them, and it'll come out exactly perfect. This one, it was just kind of difficult to have measure about every 5 or 6 cases just to make sure that the needle was still on point. But we're just gonna have some fun with it. See what happens.
Did Coda Boy pull out his vape stick again? Was that your vapor?
I thought it was his vibrator.
The trick is to actually go about 10 thousandths below what they say to do, and then you can shoot it for a time or two before you have to resize it again.
Yeah, a buddy of mine.
Just in case anybody hadn't told you that.
Yeah, he's told me about 3 times is where he can go without having to resize again. And but I'm going to go back through and hand select a couple cases and reload 100 perfect rounds as best I can, with the single stage and trickle charge and do what I got to do. But I really enjoy shooting at Mark 12, and we've got a range out here. And the guy showed me a new one. It's 600 and a 1,000 yard range. So we're going to go hit that 600 with that thing and see what we can do.
It'll do it. No problem.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I seen your video where you had what was it, about not a video, it was probably just a still picture on Facebook or something, about a 3-inch group at 300 yards with a 223. That's awesome, man.
Inch and 7/8.
Inch and 7/8. Oh, wow. Awesome.
That was the day that I was doing the Milrad scope adjustment video. But
Was that the short barrel pistol looking deal?
no, that was the 18-inch. That's the Mark 12. The 7.5 inch. Hell, I was doing 2 and a 3-inch groups at 100 yards with that thing. I couldn't believe it. That was stupid.
You need to drink more often, apparently. You're too steady.
Brother, let me tell you something. I went gluten-free this weekend, and I was drinking vodka last night. Well, I don't know. Is tequila, is it gluten-free? Anybody know?
Yeah, it's made from cactuses. Chances are it's gluten-free.
Agave.
And it's añejo. I saw TR Preppers, and that's some good stuff, man. I'm gonna tell you that I was doing a side-by-side comparison with the silver and the añejo, and that was good.
That's redneck for gold. That's Spanish for gold.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was like, I can't pronounce it. I'll just say it's gold.
Fuck it, it's gold.
Some kind of plant.
I thought El Dorado was gold in Spanish. Same.
I wish Patron was something else, like a whiskey or something. I'd be all into that shit, but I ain't buying that crap. It'll sit in my fucking. Well, it'll sit there till TR comes over again.
Well, man, check this out. We got this place called Frugal McDougal's. It's right there in Rock Hill, South Carolina, just across the border. And a bottle of silver was $20, and that añejo was only $26. So it was a lot more economical than I thought. And it's right beside the Cabela's. So why not? You're down there shopping for gun stuff, so go ahead and stop and get your liquor stuff. So, but Tito's vodka is my go-to drink now, which is kind of sad.
Vodka.
Yummy. Tito's vodka and yeah, thanks, Pops. Man, you are so mean to me, I tell you. But
Oh, it means
Peach
age.
vodka and Crystal Light. And I can't drink Jameson.
Crystal Light. Jeez. Be careful, your freaking penis.
Well, I got married. I don't need it anymore. So
I'm telling you.
Gross.
And Hio, how'd you say that?
Cheetos and Yeho.
And Yale.
Uh-huh.
That is some good shit right there. I only did the one shot. I was just like, oh my god, damn, that was good. The silver is good, but wow, that's some tasty stuff right there.
They got them all out there, and I'm not a big fan of the coffee flavored one, the cafe, but I'm gonna have to go down there on Friday and get a couple more bottles of that stuff, make some more donations. It's just yummy, yummy, yummy.
You like Johnny Walker? WTF?
Not as much as I do.
I like it a lot. In fact, my awesome physique was sculpted by Johnny Walker.
I saw that shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not a bourbon guy.
I didn't have a pot belly until I learned to like Johnny Walker. My liver went blue.
Yeah, no Johnny.
That's blended. A lot of people don't like blended scotch, but that's okay. Well, it's more for me.
I'm
I like a good blended bourbon, which I think is what bourbon is anyway. It was blended whiskey.
Blended with what?
Yeah, it's mostly made of corn, so that's what defines a bourbon. Aged in charred American oak barrels.
I think correct me if I'm wrong. A bourbon is blended different runs. So you got like a new run, old run, and they blend it, and
Bourbon is not blended.
Well, you can have blended bourbons from different runs and ages. They'll try to blend them up for a custom blend, but bourbon's pretty straightforward. Predominantly corn is the. I think it's got to be 70% corn based to be a bourbon, and you can only call it a bourbon if it's made in America.
Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Okay. All right.
Any other, if it's not from Bourbon County, that's the true meaning of it, then it's actually just a whiskey. Like Jack Daniels is a whiskey, it's not a bourbon.
Well, that's kind of like champagne.
Blanton.
Yeah. Okay. I'm learning. If you hand me a glass, I will fucking drink it. That's the kind of guy I am.
What a polite guy.
That's my deal. I pretty much like that. I've got a couple really nice bottles. I did a Christmas video. My wife bought me the 23-year-old Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve, and that's locked up. That's good stuff.
Quit molesting with.
What?
Yeah, George Dickel, that's a Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about scotch, but when I drink it, and it may be just me, but like the first 5 sips are absolutely delicious. It's like the best thing I've ever had in my entire life that day. And then all of a sudden it tastes like apple juice. And I just keep drinking it. It's delicious. It's totally awesome. Delicious. Just nothing better.
The problem with bourbon is most of the time I'll try to drink it neat just because you just sit there and you can taste it and sip on it. But if I add ice to it, it's gone. It's just like apple juice, man. It's a done deal.
Don't tell us shit we already know, Code Boy.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine split a bottle of Johnny Walker Gold that we had stored in the freezer like the night before, and we kept it there when we were drinking it, and I swear to God, you couldn't taste it. It didn't have that fumey alcohol flavor. All you could taste is just the sweet smokiness, and it was terribly dangerous. Terribly dangerous.
Well,
But the end was good.
Scotch connoisseur. When I worked in Chicago for 3.5 years, and I flew back every week. So I made chairman with U.S. Air, and the first thing I'd do when I got on the airplane was like a double Scotch on the rocks. They tried to tell me I could only have 3 doubles during a trip, and I said, so when did that start? Hang on, I'm not done yet.
I had a lady tell me I've had enough to drink when I was flying out to see you guys.
No.
I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, I still got like 8 hours to go. Get me through this, man.
Well, what I learned,
I'll be doing that shit tomorrow.
if I was flying coach, what I do is, you got the 3-ounce bottles that you can buy at the drugstore that are clear. You can take a Ziploc bag and you can put 6 of those in a Ziploc bag and go through security with them. And I would fill that up with bourbon. And then what I would do is, before we got on the airplane, is I would drink it all. And that way I was set for the ride.
That's your inner prepper talking. Thinking ahead. Self-reliant.
Those were the good old days. Yeah, man. People are like, "Oh my God, you can bring that in." I'm like, "Yeah, man. They don't care. It's in the Ziploc bag. It's in the. They can look right in there and see what it is. Who cares?"
But you're allowed, like when I go travel, and I'll have, I'm a vapor, obviously. You're allowed, these bottles, 30 milliliter bottles.
Mm-hmm.
I take a half dozen of these things with me. They don't care how many you have, but they all have to be 30 milliliters. So technically, I could probably fit an entire bottle of Scotch in my briefcase in 30 milliliter bottles.
I can try that tomorrow on the way home.
I could take a whole 5th of bourbon. And
Problem
put
is,
it
when I got home, I couldn't drive.
that was just the most amazing thing. Is just sit down, relax, listen to music, and just enjoy a good buzz before you get in the airplane. I was in no rush.
Yeah, just tell her you want a glass of ice next time.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only problem is, okay, so you're not allowed to. They don't really like for you to drink alcohol that wasn't purchased on the airplane, and I could see where that would be a problem. But I did have one time. I had one of the little bottles was sitting between my legs, and it popped out, and it went right down the middle of the aisle as we were taking off. And I was like, "That's mine! Bring it back. Can you hand it to me, please? It's my bourbon."
People bailing into the aisle trying to get it.
What is that? Good stuff there.
I hate airplane rides. They're so dull and boring. I can't sit still. I suck at sitting still. So, yeah, I just want to get a super good buzz going and then pass out. And then when I wake up, hopefully my ears are popping and we're about to land.
Yeah.
And every time I wake up, I'm like, I wonder if I was snoring. And then I'm like, I don't really give a shit.
I always
Last time I flew, it was a 24-hour flight.
ugh.
Talk about a long fight. I watched so many fucking movies. I don't even remember how many movies I watched.
I think one of the longest flights we ever went on, my family. My wife is her family's from Sweden, so we go over there about every other year. And the kids are getting old enough to where we leave Charlotte midday. We usually fly either out of Chicago or Newark. The last time we did it, we flew out of Newark, and the kids would not fall asleep on the airplane because you take off in the light here and you land in the morning there. And those little bastards, they set up all night long, just back and forth, peeing on each other. It was just like my wife and I were like at each other, just ready to kill them. And talk about a long damn flight. That was the most miserable thing I've ever seen. It was only 8 hours, but it was 8 hours of just sit your ass down. Oh, I'll never do that again. At least not with her or them. So
I don't know. They need sweet tea on the airplane. I'll tell you that much. Bullshit.
I about shit myself when we went out to lunch. And we were sitting at the sitting at that table, and you're like, "Let me get an iced tea," and then you proceed to dump like 12 packets of friggin' Splenda into it. It's like, good
No
Lord,
Splenda.
man.
Sugar, my man.
Well,
Sugar.
whatever it was.
That's that
Good
Splenda
Lord.
shit. That shit'll kill you.
Good
Hey,
God.
I like it. You know, every time I fly over here, I got to make it look like a snow globe in order to enjoy it. That's one of the reasons I left this place. Got tired of opening sugar packets and pouring it in.
Do
You're
they let
lucky.
you have sugar
You're
in
lucky
California?
they give you that many
What?
in California, man.
Do they let you have sugar in California?
Yeah, so I was gonna say.
Yeah, but you're required to only carry 10 at a time.
If you buy more, or if you ask for more than 10, you have to sign a waiver, so the restaurant isn't held responsible for what happens to you.
Yeah, you gotta have a concealed sugar permit. No, I do drink. I do. A lot of people trip out on when they're watching me. I'll see like at the corner of my eye. They'll be like people tapping their like friend and going pointing at me, basically pouring all the sugar in. Now the good restaurant, many around here, but the sugar that's in the big jar and it's got the silver top on it, like the creamer like ones, where you can just hold it and like make mountains of sugar and then it falls in. That's what I'm talking about.
We're gonna go to a place like that next time, man. And I'm gonna sneak the. We used to do this. I went to boarding school in high school. We used to fuck with each other all the time like that. We'd unscrew the caps for the salt and pepper all the time, and just set them on there. So if somebody go to shake a little on there, and the whole thing would dump in.
I wouldn't have a problem with it all dumping in there. I'd just say, can I get a little more ice, please? It's pretty bad, actually. You know how they have the statistic where they say, like every person eats, 10.5 pounds of sugar. What I don't even know what the number is, but they'd look at me and be like, record breaker.
He gonna die.
You gonna die? It's funny because when I come to work, I'll go by the gas station and grab a bag, and it'll have like different types of candy bars and shit in it, and all my tea, all that bullshit. And actually, these ones, the Good and Plenty's, they'll be like, "Chief, what'd you get?" I go, "Oh, bag of diabetes."
Crazy. That is one of my downfalls. I'm working in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Hershey, PA is just right around the corner. And a couple of my buddies, they have some friends who work in the they make the Hershey's peanut butter cups, the plant right there, and they'll bring in fresh made Hershey's peanut butter cups right off the line, man. And it's just
You talking about these ones?
Dude,
Yeah.
I love those things.
These are the big cups too.
Crunchy ones. The crunchy ones.
I'm telling you, man.
Crunchy ones.
I'm telling you. No, what does he say? I'm real.
Hey, TR, can I make an announcement?
Nope.
No, okay.
Not sure. Go right ahead.
I'm gonna do a giveaway this week. So just a little thing. It's more for the kids than anything else, but we're gonna do one of those damn spinners.
Oh shit!
I found one that was camouflage. I thought it was pretty cool. So we're gonna do a deal. Is somebody's gonna have to tell me how would you shoot it and how far away would you be when you shot it? So and whoever I pick has to do a VR showing them shooting the thing.
I will shoot that son of a bitch from 100 yards with a 10mm pistol.
Yeah.
Within five shots.
Yeah. Any video any giveaway you do, always do a VR. VR only. That's just my personal opinion from past experiences. If you're going to do a giveaway, make it a VR. You have to do a VR.
There it is, right there. Cool.
Oh, I could hit that.
I hate those things, man. What the
Do
hell?
better
Is
than
there a
that.
name for those things?
Do a slow video where that thing's spinning slow, and you got to send it through that hole and hit the target. As you know, the little bearing part.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you what, though, man, I found a really cool one this week, and I actually bought it. It was damn $25, but I bought it anyway. I didn't give a shit. It's got like the little barbells hanging off of it. It's got 5 or 6 prongs. And then, I know it's silly, but it'd run forever. You sit there and play with that damn thing. Kind of like these damn bitches here. But,
I turn those things into 300 blackout cases. They're worthless.
and right.
Yeah, Rob wants to blow some shit up.
It always does.
What we should do, Rob, is get a pound or a couple pounds of tannerite and then stack all the CZs on it and then see which one, do like a test, which one's the strongest.
And shoot it with a flare gun.
A parachute flare gun.
That would be cool.
What'd you want me to do, Rick? Or do you want to share now?
It's boring shit.
All right. I want to do a shoot him in the face thing.
I know. That'd be awesome.
Something for
Just so you guys know, Parlesk, I don't know if he's still out there, he started a design, but I was trying to make shirts, so I needed it in vector. So SoCal, with his computer technology savvy magic ninja shit, he rebuilt it and then added a site to it. And Pop's always haunting me over here.
Show them the one I say that I'd like better. Well, not
Yeah.
like better. I think it's more suiting. I should
So
say.
it's more soothing. Whoa. Yeah. So I'm waiting for. Oh, I'll tell you that story first. So I'm waiting for SoCal to finish my logo, right? So he sends me an email. I look at it, and the way my screen was set up, it's basically this dick, and it says, "Is your dick covered?" And it's got a full-on head on it, penis head on it. I'm like, awesome. Do you have that available to show them? Nah, don't show them. Someone will copy it. Oh, there it is. Go ahead.
Here we go. I think that's genius.
Oh, God.
If you're gonna do that, you gotta put from the balls to the tip.
Put it back up there,
And
so
send it over to
just
SoCal.
in case.
No, don't do it. He's gonna copy it.
No, I'll just text it to you, Roger.
So I'm gonna make that shirt. I'm gonna make that shirt, and I'm gonna put from the balls to the tip on it, and it's gonna be my Coda Boy 32 shirt.
That's too funny.
There you go, Roger. It's on the way.
Clink, gone. But no, so he ended up putting like a threaded barrel on the front. Do you have that one to show him?
Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
Actually, I don't know if I actually. That one wasn't that really that interesting. Let's see.
No, oh, you just like the dick one better, is all.
I knew you would. That's for certain.
Well, here's the problem, SoCal, since we're talking about this crap. So, what the fuck happened here? All right, so see, so these are stickers. I'm trying to make stickers, but see
It's
the
too close. Back it away from that.
wait. No, I'm trying to show you the Y though. It looks like a V.
Yeah. I noticed that too, and it's the way the letters got traced.
Yeah, but then right here, like right over here in the corner where like the circle you added the straight part, it has a bump in it. The shirt company won't. It says it's not straight enough or something. But look how cool that it looks. SoCal did this. It's pretty badass. It's basically got a rail on the bottom like a light. And then you got a, let me zoom in here, threaded barrel on the front for like a suppressor. It's pretty cool shit.
I'll
Well,
try to smooth it out, man. I noticed
like
that too. I didn't notice it when I sent it to you, but after I did, I'm like, crap, I hope he didn't notice that.
well, I saw it a little bit. I think it ain't going to be that big a deal. But when I sent it over to the Spreadshirts, it said something. It wouldn't it wouldn't work. And I was like, fuck.
All right, so if anybody wants a logo, depending on the complexity, it starts at $100 and then up from there, from now on.
On a bottle of Johnny Walker.
That 6 is open, not covered. That's true, but check this out. If you were to shoot at this 6, it would come down here and go around and then hit there and never get the 6. So it's still covered. Quit splitting hairs, damn it. It's good enough, kitty. What, TR's leaving or what? Oh.
Yeah, well.
Oh, Blue's leaving.
Yeah, Blue's leaving. And
Yeah,
to be
just like
honest,
a cop. Run right before the
Yeah.
emergency.
I'm gonna have to get going too.
yeah, it's been about 2 hours, and we need to go ahead and wrap this up if you don't mind. And I'm going to let everybody do an outro. And we'll start with Blue since he was about to jump out anyway.
Good night.
That was easy.
Coda Boy 32, would you like to do an outro?
Sure, man. TR, thank you very much for having me. As I said before, man, great group of people until Rick joined. Love y'all. Thanks everybody for supporting TR and his awesome channel, man. And what a great bunch of guys. I really appreciate being part of it. Thank you so much.
I'm tearing up over here.
Rick, you joined a little late, but I'll give you the opportunity to do an outro anyway.
Thanks Roger TR Prepper. Thanks you guys for supporting TR and his chat here, and you guys have a great day. See you on the next one.
All right, thanks, Rick. I appreciate you coming in, man. Anytime you can. Rosie, would you like to do an outro?
Yeah, it's just kind of, even though Rick spoiled the chat coming in, still had a good time. No, it's awesome. Good to see him smiling and happy and safe. And what a joy to be on with Coda and SoCal tonight. And as usual, TR and Blue. Thanks a lot, and can't wait to see you guys next week.
All right, thanks, Rosie.
Have a good one, Rosie.
You want to do anything? You want to do an outro?
Sure. Thanks for having me on, TR, and thanks for everybody in the chat room supporting TR's chat. Thanks for showing up. It's always fun. I did, like I was saying at the beginning, I did a couple videos, and it felt okay. I think I might be doing a couple more. I've been buying a lot of guns lately, and maybe I'll do kind of like a Robbie or a Pops Quest style review. I'm not a gun reviewer. I just like shooting them. But kind of show you some new stuff I got. Bought a bunch of new sights and some optics, and gonna be some cool shit coming down the pipe. So check that out. And thanks again, TR. Thanks for having me on. You guys in the chat, have a good evening.
All right, thanks for coming on, man. I do appreciate it. I thank all of y'all for coming on here and helping me do a chat. It means a lot to me. Believe it or not. And anyway, we'll see you next week, and later.
Take care, everybody.